Today, we're going to talk about the genius of ATG. I'm going to make this video as simple as possible to prove why ATG works for so many people and it could work for you as well. The goal is to open your eyes so that you yourself now can think about where you should invest your time in if you're serious about your athleticism and achieving big goals. But first of all, let me tell you a quick background story. Let's run it back. Let's look at how my training history looked before I discovered Ben Patrick, aka Knees Over Toes Guy, aka the Genius. Listen carefully. In my whole footballing career, I haven't purposely done a single full knee bend squat. Not once. I haven't run backwards once. I did not jump off my right leg if I didn't have to once. I've probably kicked the ball 21,000 times more with my right foot as I'm a right-footed player, and I've probably planted my left leg 21,000 times more than my right one. And on top of that, I've performed a ton of sprints. How does this sound? How does it sound to you? One thing I can tell you is that this is asking for injury. This is why so many talented ballers don't go pro, but instead the players who've never got injured. And of course, there will always be the genetically gifted one, or the one that simply doesn't have any issues as a result from that kind of exposure. But the majority is going to suffer from that kind of exposure. What I was doing back then was just what I was told to do, but I didn't actually know what I was doing wrong. But since you are watching this video right now, you can learn the truth and unlock your true athletic potential. It's now your turn to take action, to take the right action. So the first thing you're gonna do is to reverse all those years you were just pushing forward without working on your brakes. What do I mean by brakes? I mean the decelerator muscles, the muscles that work really hard when you're decelerating from a run. Now it's obvious why you should work on your brakes, right? The majority of injuries happen when your decelerators are too weak to slow down the force output. You could just imagine a golf cart. You now put a Ferrari engine in it and you accelerate. You're gonna be fast first, but wait till it comes to slowing down. It won't work. No, the golf cart is not going to be able to slow down all the force of the Ferrari engine. It's just the same for our bodies. Look, a study even says that deceleration is just as important, if not more important, than acceleration. Indeed, in most team sports, for example, hockey, football, rugby, high-intensity decelerations appear to be performed more frequently than equivalently intense accelerations during competitive match play. Not only that, but deceleration involves extremely high mechanical loading, which can lead to tissue damage and neurological fatigue. And we all know what happens if our bodies don't work like they should because they're fatigued. Just look at the ACL, for example. Over half of non-contact ACL injuries occurred whilst decelerating. In summary, the study says while the continued development and maintenance of high-velocity sprint activity remains a very important piece of your performance in team sports, it is advised that you do not speed up what you cannot slow down. Sports science and medicine practitioners should begin to pay more attention to their athletes' deceleration and appropriately progress training loads with that in mind. And this is exactly where the genius of ATG comes in, because this is exactly what we're doing. Because ultimately the focus is on getting stronger, running faster, jumping higher, but not in a way that is destructive for your body. We do not speed up what we cannot slow down. We simply get world class at speeding up, but we also get world class at slowing down. That's the solution. And how do we do that? Let's look into it. To showcase this, I've created the ATG Principle Pyramid for Speed. To get a better understanding on how I built this pyramid, I recommend watching this video. But it's just basically the following steps I'm about to tell you in that order. First and most important fact is to be completely pain-free. If not, your body is simply going to hold you back. with its built-in self-defense mechanism where it will hold back your force output in order to defend itself from injury. Then we build a solid foundation beginning from the ground up, beginning at our feet, working everything that needs to be strong to produce and absorb great forces. World-class tibialis strength, strong quads and hamstrings all play a huge role, but especially important are strong tendons, because they play a huge role when absorbing the braking forces from deceleration. Strong connective tissue such as tendons and ligaments is developed with long-range exercises such as the ATG split squat, for example, and not with the 90-degree squat like I've been doing 1 year back. In fact, not moving through the full range is going to make you more prone to injury, as we mainly target muscles which are great for producing force but not to absorb it. So we have the same scenario again with the engine of the Ferrari and the golf cart. For an athletic body with a great foundation, chasing the measurable ATG standards is probably the best thing you can do, along with running, sledding backwards like a freak. Now for deceleration only, I'm almost 100% sure you need to work on it, and at this point you hopefully understand how important it is. So here are 5 exercises that work the main muscles involved in deceleration. Hamstrings, glutes, VMO, tibialis anterior, soleus, abductors, adductors, calves, erector spinae, abdominals. The first one is the tib raise that perfectly targets the tibialis anterior muscle. This is probably the most neglected muscle in modern day training. Chances are high that you've never even heard of it. So anyways, it is literally your first line of defense when decelerating. So the more force you can already absorb at your ankle and shin, the less destructive forces move up to your knee. The ATG standard for this exercise is 10% body weight per leg for 15 straight reps. Now for the second exercise, we stay at the lower leg, but now we work the backside of it, precisely your soleus. In the human body, this is the strongest muscle pound for pound and is responsible for ankle and knee stability and balance, and highly active in running activities and just generally when your knee is bent. The standard is 12 single leg knee over toe calf raises with 25% of your body weight. But I love to work it with a heavy ass dumbbell seated and with toe elevation for an even better and deeper stretch. There are so many benefits the soleus muscle has, but I'll do a separate video to cover all of that. Next up, we have front and back squats. The absolute key is that you move through the full range of motion with your knees traveling over your toes. When you load that deep knee bend, it is shown that you have higher VMO activation. Now what does that mean? The vastus medialis oblique gets really strong. Now this will greatly help with your knee health, because as soon as your knee is bent, it engages and is responsible for properly tracking the motion of the knee joint. Just notice how many world-class athletes have huge VMOs. Messi, Ronaldo, Usain Bolt, Michael Jordan. The ATG standard is to squat both front and back for 100% of your body weight. Really making sure to control the eccentric portion of the squat will translate to your ability to absorb force even better. And contrary to commonly voiced concerns, deep squats do not contribute increased risk of injury to passive tissues. So provided that technique is learned accurately under expert supervision and with progressive training loads, the deep squat presents an effective training exercise for protection against injuries and strengthening of the lower extremity. But if you only perform 90-degree squats, you won't save your knees. No, you won't save your knees like this guy thinks. You won't reach your athletic potential. No, you're actually setting yourself up for injury. Because what you and I don't see is the remodeling of tendons and ligaments we achieve with full squats, with full range of motion strengthening, but not with 90-degree squats. Tendons really are the missing link of the equation that natural freak athletes have and you don't. So your tendons got to be remodeled in order for you to transform your athleticism. Let that sink in and give me a reason why you shouldn't do full squats. To be honest, the only reason could be that you have knee pain. And that's where the fourth exercise comes in. Backwards sled. This one has already helped thousands of people reverse out knee pain. But that's not where backward sled stops to help you. By literally doing the reverse of running forward, we strengthen the primary muscles we need to decelerate. It's the only exercise proven to improve speed, jumping, and knee health all at the same time. It improves lower body strength and power, decreases injury prevalence, and improves change of direction performance. Literally what you need for top tier athleticism. The great thing about backwards walking is that the VMO engages like it should but often doesn't for people with knee pain when they walk forward. So we're really getting that VMO to work properly. And did you know that by running backwards, you will actually get faster forwards? Yes, it sounds stupid, but by running backwards, you will get faster forwards. There is a study that shows that well-trained and healthy male athletes could improve their speed forward in only 5 weeks simply by training backwards running. In ATG, we don't have a backwards running standard, but we know the better we get backwards, the more protected we are forwards. That's why I walk backwards on a turned off treadmill every single day, and you should too. If you want to get all of these benefits, not even having to leave your house, the backwards treadmill is probably something for you. You can find the link to it in my description. And last but not least, for great protection when decelerating, you need strong hamstrings. The hamstrings are the greatest point of force in horizontal speed. Being world-class at Nordics is not only the key to getting faster, but also proven to reduce hamstring and ACL injuries significantly. So if your hamstrings are tight and weak, they are very likely not letting you express your full speed and are much more likely to pop during sprinting action. And for deceleration, the weakness simply leaves you at a high risk of ACL injuries. Look, 92% of the non-contact injuries occurred at extended knee angles of 30 degrees or less, which is exactly the range we strengthened perfectly with the end range and also the hardest part of the Nordic hamstring curl. And also notice that teams using injury prevention programs that included the Nordic hamstring curl reduced hamstring injury rates up to 51% in the long term, compared with the teams that did not use any injury prevention measures. So what are you waiting for? Focused on the lower body, this is the athletic truth for building a strong foundation and reversing years of 90-degree squats, years of not developing your decelerators muscles, and most importantly, not remodeling your tendons and ligaments. If you want to know the athletic truth about the upper body, let me know down in the comment section. But for the lower body, this was only part 1. In the next part, I will talk about the years of imbalances created from jumping off and landing on a preferred leg and kicking with the preferred foot, and of course how to undo all of that, how to rebalance your body to minimize injury risk and ensure that you reach new levels of athleticism. Because keep in mind, you're only as strong as your weakest link. Take action, and if you're looking for someone to hold you accountable to keep working on your goals, on your weaknesses, I'm your coach. I'm here for you. I will provide you with an individualized training program, form coaching, check-in calls to make sure you get the maximum out of your body. So feel free to reach out to me on Instagram. I've put the link in my description. Peace out.